Hello and welcome. As an AI expert who supports modern hotel operations, I've seen firsthand what truly sets great leaders apart from the good ones. For all of you here at Europe Hotel School, today we're going to master that one critical skill, forecasting. So let's get right into it.
Think about it. Every single great hotel begins with this big, ambitious vision, right? To be the absolute best, to deliver service that nobody can match, and of course, to maximize profitability. But here's the real question. How do you actually connect that huge top-level ambition with the small daily decisions that have to be made on the ground? That, right there, is the core challenge.
You see, you could have the most brilliant, most innovative strategy in the world, but if you have no way to actually measure your progress or plan your next move, it's kind of like wanting to drive to a destination without a map. We call this the strategy execution gap. And honestly, it's where so many fantastic plans just fall apart.
So what does it actually feel like when your strategy doesn't have that precision? Well, frankly, it leads to chaos. You end up overstaffing the restaurant on a slow night, or you're totally caught off guard by a rush at the front desk. Your resources are all over the place, targets get missed, and maybe worst of all, your team starts to lose faith in the plan itself.
Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we get away from all that guesswork and get back to real guidance? Well, this is exactly where forecasting comes into play. It is the tool that gives you the clarity and the direction you need to navigate this incredibly complex market. It really is our strategic map.
And this is so important. I want you to really reframe how you think about this. Forecasting is not just some boring spreadsheet exercise. It's the exact point where that big, fuzzy ambition becomes a concrete, measurable plan. It's how you turn your goals into actual numbers you can work with.
So let's be super clear on what forecasting actually is. It's a structured, organized look into the future based on the best data you have available. Now, the goal here isn't to be a psychic. That's impossible. The real goal is to reduce uncertainty, just enough so that you can make stronger, more confident decisions. And this slide right here perfectly captures the biggest misconception out there. The myth is that forecasting is all about getting a perfect prediction, like looking into a crystal ball. But the reality? The real value is in improving the quality of your decisions. It is a strategic capability that helps you make smarter choices, not some kind of magic trick. Okay, let's get into the how. How do we actually build a forecast that you and your team can rely on? It's definitely not about pulling numbers out of thin air. It's a very disciplined process that combines a few key ingredients. A truly reliable forecast has to be built on a solid foundation of information. You always start with your historical data. What were your occupancy rates like this same week last year? Then you start to layer in the market trends. Is there a huge conference coming to town? Is a new competitor opening down the street? And finally, you have to review your current sales pipeline. What weddings, corporate events, and group bookings do you already have confirmed? Look, a forecast is completely useless if your team doesn't trust it. So how do you build that credibility? Well, it really comes down to two main pillars. First, transparency. Everybody needs to understand how you got to these numbers. And second, consistency. You have to use a structured, repeatable process every single time. That's what builds trust and makes the forecast a tool everyone can get behind. So you've put in all this work. What's the big payoff? Well, this is where it all comes together. When you have a forecast you can count on, it absolutely transforms your entire operation. You just start making smarter decisions that lead directly to much, much better results. And let me tell you, the stakes here are incredibly high. If you overestimate demand, you're just throwing money away on extra labor and inventory you don't need. But if you underestimate it, you're leaving money on the table, you're burning out your best employees, and you're creating bad guest experiences. Getting that balance right is absolutely crucial. But when you do get it right, the positive outcomes are just profound. You get efficient resource allocation, the right number of people at the right time. You create clear accountability because now everyone's working towards the same achievable targets for things like RevPAR. You become way more adaptable to changes in the market. And what's really important is that you learn. Every single time you do a forecast, you get better at the next one. So I really want you to stop thinking of forecasting as just another task on your checklist. When you truly master it, it's not a task, it's a capability. For a hospitality leader, it is a genuine superpower. Because think about it, a great leader doesn't just react to what's happening, they anticipate it. Mastering this skill lets you see what's on the horizon.
to grab opportunities before anyone else does, and to deliver consistently amazing results year after year.
And that's what this is really all about. In an industry this competitive, the hotels that can forecast well are just better prepared. They make smarter decisions, and they operate with a kind of clarity that others just don't have. It stops being an analytics project and becomes a central piece of your hotel's success.
As you get ready for your own careers, please remember this. Your first big strategic decision as a leader probably won't be some grand, inspiring speech. It will be a forecast. That single document is going to set your team's targets, your budget, and your definition of success. So the only question left is, are you prepared to make it